Pace yourself.
How I'm glad to have you as a family. Extended family, and you were so nice everywhere. So I'm so glad we have you as our family now.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Shannon is one of the most gentle and sneakily most powerful people I know. Her path was not the straightforward ladder of predetermined steps one should do to be successful, but rather a winding adventure led by intuition and a fierce commitment to her values. After finishing college with a degree in fine art, she went to experience life in an ashram in India, which I've always wanted to do, but didn't have the gumption. And luckily, being in New York, between all Shannon's adventures, she would typically come and stay with me in my various living situations.
After the ashram.
For a time. And I remember when she came back from the ashram, opening my apartment door, and there she was with a huge backpack and like wild hair and like crazy Indian garb and flowing pants. And she taught me how to give massages by walking on each other. So we would like walk on each other and try walking massage. And then from India, she went to Portland, to farming in Hawaii. And she always followed her heart and lived so much life along the way. And then luckily in September of, and I can't remember the exact date, but after recovering from dengue and ready to kind of start a new chapter, she showed up at our doorstep. And again, I remember opening the door, and this time she was like rail thin and her hair was chopped to here, and she was like, I'm gonna live in New York. I don't know how long I'm gonna stay with you guys, but I'm gonna find somewhere to live. And Jeff was like, oh no, this could be really bad. His cousin had asked to sleep on his couch for a few weeks, years back.
I never said bad. I said long.
So I was like, and luckily we had a pull-out couch. And so I was geared like, yeah, Shannon's gonna live with us. Like, this is great. And in 2 weeks, she had found a job and an apartment and moved out. And we were glad to see her find her way, but sad that we didn't get to live with us for longer that go round. And Shannon is a true self-starter and an entrepreneur. From starting out as, I remember, the office manager of a design firm, where I remember her being like, I could do what they're doing, and continuing to ask to get moved up, and they, for whatever political reasons, that wasn't happening. So she was like, fine, I'm gonna go figure out how to do what I want. And Shannon, the career you've built for yourself, one of the most competitive cities in the world, is really impressive. Jeff and I talk about it all the time. It's amazing. It's amazing. So then, upon meeting Rob for the first time on Zoom,
FaceTime.
FaceTime. I walked away from the call thinking, gosh, Shannon is so gentle on the outside and so strong on the inside. And you're pretty intimidating. Like on the outside. You're like, I was like, whoa. And yet getting to know you, you're so gentle on the inside.
Shan wants me to get a neck tattoo. I don't think that's gonna go.
Help with the intimidation factor. And in getting to know Rob, learning he's one of the most thoughtful, just generous people. The first to analyze raw 23andMe data for anyone in the family, taking hours, or going to get medicine on Thanksgiving when someone is sick. And I feel such comfort in knowing that my gentle, strong sister is going to be such a strong, gentle. You guys are a really great match. And then one funny story. So we all liked you from the very beginning.
No.
And my cousin Tirsa, who met you in Whidbey, immediately upon meeting you, calls me and is like, he's amazing. If Shannon doesn't marry him and have his babies, I'm going to.
She's got enough babies. She has 4 kids.
Yeah, she's got 4 boys.
See you guys?
Yeah.
Tirsa's out.
So we just feel so lucky to have you guys in our corner of the world. And location-wise, we hope you stay in New York.
We have to win this tug of war starting with Maggie.
Yeah.
No, it's going to London.
Oh,
way
Hey,
out.
at least
that's the long shot. That's
New York's
the low
a little
odds.
closer. Yeah. And we look forward to celebrating many, many, many years to come of good and hard life events. So.
And for this table to get longer, or the ever-expanding family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we all.
can do
What
like a
I've been
square.
saying
Yeah,
is that
exactly.
as all the siblings, as all your kids get older, we need to buy our own house in Hawaii and share it amongst ourselves. Because
Uh-huh.
eventually there's gonna be too many people sharing this house, so that's a good
Yeah.
vision.
Or in Florida.
Or in Florida,
Uh-huh.
or both.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a house everywhere.
Divide and
In London,
conquer.
we're gonna have one in London.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Thank
We
you.
love you.
despite being twins from birth, you may have noticed that Shannon and I have essentially nothing in common. Personality-wise, at least. You know, we've got other things in common. Depends on the year for me, but yeah. So, as you probably know, or you will learn, I am a dispassionate, logical thinker, interested in things like technology, debate, competitive games, academic philosophy, history. I studied finance and I now work in the sexiest of professions, enterprise software, where Jeff is as well. Shannon is a little bit different, just on the edges. A very emotive thinker, interested in art, spirituality, meditation, organic farming from time to time. She studied fine art and she works in graphic design. Despite being twins, a little bit different. So we have, however, shared some formative experiences, being in the same place at the same time with the same parents. So to give you a flavor of this, growing up, we would try to play games. Tennis is an example. We'd go to the tennis court, and inevitably, it never went well. Shannon said that I was too serious, too aggressive, and I made it not fun all of the time. And I should point out in my defense that I was never actually any good at tennis. So it wasn't that I was great, it's just that there seemed to be some kind of differing of personalities, one might say. We also shared a particular experience, I think maybe a little bit more keenly felt by the earlier place children. But we are the children of Casey and Shona. Better known to some by their street names, which is the Laurelhurst Cowboy and the Nona, respectively. Don't get me wrong, we were cared for, loved, fed, sheltered. We even went to good schools, which made it especially interesting. We were, incredibly advantaged individuals in many ways. So, in short, I can't complain, but sometimes you still do. That's just how it works. So, there was a strange thing, which is that despite all these advantages, we couldn't tell if we were poor or not. And this is a weird, very distinctly placed thing that I'll try to explain to you as I go. So, it seemed like the other kids had easy access to cash to spend on things, and we didn't quite seem to have it. The other kids had, the latest video games, the latest iPhones, the latest fashion, and we had the important things, but we didn't have those things. There was a particular episode where we tried to save money by buying cheaper laptops than the one the school issued standard. So we were literally the only children in the entire grade that had a different thing than everybody else. We had this external battery pack that we were carrying around. It was very strange. Yeah. We drove a 96 Chevy Trailblazer that had actually been hit into a bus 2 times before we got to it. Thanks, Kaylee. And it never seemed to quite have fully functioning brakes. It was sometimes close, but usually not quite there. So to give you a good sort of explanation for how this works and where the origin of this comes from, we go to the greatest generation, the Nancy and Riley place, and then their children. So to give you a good explanation of how this came about, There's a quick story about the Place Boys, by which I mean the uncles, in around 2005. We're at Christmas. We've got, aunts and uncles and cousins, and we're all gathered at the big house, so just up the hill where we just came from. And, we've got a ton of people, a ton of love and family, and this is a fancy house in one of the most magical places on earth at a lovely resort. Expensive flights to get there. There's good food. Everything's great. There's a strange commonality between my dad, my Uncle Ryan, and my Uncle Kelly, which is that they're all wearing matching white Costco Court Classics that they had not purchased together. And the strange thing is that these are the cheapest tennis shoes that you could buy in the world right there.
$14.99.
Which might explain some of my fashion sense or lack thereof as well. So onto a slightly different topic, much like was shared before. I was worried about Shannon going to New York, becoming the sort of struggling artist type that sort of all too common that we find. I thought she might drive every reasonable suitor away with her self-described dirty hippie vibes. I didn't make this up.
So into that.
But I'm very glad to report that she's proven me wrong. Our sensitive artist, Shannon, has made it on the mean streets of New York. She crosses the road, having tuned out the jaywalking norms of Seattleites a long time ago. Doesn't hear the horns, doesn't hear the traffic. Just does it. Says, I'm walking you. She doesn't have the accent. Maybe one day. She engages in a tasteful amount of rent control fraud, as every New Yorker should.
That's your apartment. Your problem.
We're not pointing fingers. Tasteful. She's clawed her way into the graphic design world, and when she goes on vacation, they have to hire 3, 4, 5 people to cover her because
She's badass.
she's made it. Shannon, I am so proud of you. I'm proud not only that you're my sister, but my twin. And I didn't think it existed, but you somehow found someone, a life partner, who's just the right amount of Wisconsin frat bro, an empathetic, caring gentleman, brash East Coaster, and loving dog parent, science-driven medical professional, and hippy-dippy woo-woo practitioner.
Right there in the middle.
In short, a great guy that I'm very happy to have in the family, and you're perfect for each other. You build each other up. You cover for any weaknesses that I haven't found, but you cover for them. That's cheers.
Cheers. Woo. To hippy dippy woo woo.
Rob, thanks to the internet, you guys found each other.
Thanks to Hinge.
Yeah. So I was in the kitchen. It was around Thanksgiving, and they had their first kind of a Facebook meeting, and I think you guys started talking at 10 or 11, and I was like, I think Shannon's probably getting hungry at some point. And she came out of the office and kind of snuck in. She was getting something to eat, and I was like, gosh, this is going on a long time. And then she went back, and then it wasn't till like 5 o'clock till dinner time. I saw her coming back. And I was like, this is kind of weird. They had on the phone for a long time. And she just had this look on her face, kind of like, I don't know what's going on here. And so then you came in to get some dinner, and I said, so what does he do? And she said, he's a doctor. He's a naturopath. And then she walks out, and I was like, yes, that's going to be perfect, because Shannon is a very natural girl. She loves nature. And she loves being El Natural. And when she headed off to preschool, I would get calls from her sweet teacher who loves Shannon. But she said, you know, I think Shannon thinks she signed up for the clothing optional preschool because she gets here and she just takes her clothes off. It's a little bit of a problem. We're working with it. And I said, that's okay. She's good. So I just thought, oh, this is so perfect. My nature girl found a natural path. And I just figured that it was a good combination. And then when I finally did meet Rob, I could see that he was a very kind, sweet, soft-spoken man that Shannon could really relate to. And I could see that right off. And but I thought I have a tip for you, Rob. Because sometimes Shannon can like shut down. She can
I addressed this in my box.
and she can kind of be quiet and you're wondering what's going on.
I think I'm being
So-
really transparent. And
No, we all know. Shannon's just like and so my tip would be look in the mirror. Because it might just be a little fashion adjustment you need to make. Because Shannon said, she said, I can handle the wife beater. I can handle the big baggy basketball shorts. I can even handle the high top, loose, unlaced tennies. But not all three at one time. So just look in the mirror and just see maybe by chance you've got all that going on. And I've seen Shannon talk to you and say, "What are you wearing, Rob?"
Honey,
And he sweetly looks at her like, "Is there something you don't like?" So I think he's just being comfortable, but for Shannon, it might evoke some type of emotion, and I think you could probably
Do
pick
better.
up on that.
Do better.
But that leads me to saying that if there is somebody in your life who kind of wants to kind of control what you wear, that means they love you and they really care about you.
Wants to make our lives beautiful.
Exactly. But when I saw you guys together and I got an idea that you were in this big time. For a mom, you know, we can't help it. We worry about our kids. It's our job. It's what we do. We worry. You're going to get on the plane. You're going to get off the plane. You're going to get your luggage. You're going to get home. You're going to be okay. And once you know that your child is with somebody who loves them and cares for them, it's kind of like you can let that go. And I'll steal a quote from Glennon Doyle. The world's a better place because I stayed home and worried all day. So now I feel like I don't have to worry. And Shannon is in a good place and she's with a good man, and I can stop obsessing and worrying about you. So my wish.
It's your job now, Rob.
Yeah, that's your
I took
job.
that on right away, so we're good. We're good. We've been sharing that.
My wish for you both is that you have 2 to 3 children.
2.5.
No more. No more. Stay away from mushrooms. No more mushroom trips.
For Shannon.
I thought these
For
were
me.
supposed to be
For
roast.
Shannon.
Rob can do medicinal mushrooms.
And that you just enjoy a lifetime of loving each other. A toast to Rob and Shannon.
Thank you.
Let me start. Dear children, our newlyweds, husband and wife, Robert and Shannon. Today is a very special day for you, and it starts for both of you. You are married. great occasion, perfect day, amazing location, and loving family around you. What can be best? Since an unmarried person is considered really a half a person, the wedding day, the beginning of a new life, is a complete soul for both. Prior to today, both of you have been preoccupied in preparation to lay a foundation of new life together. And from now on, you need to work hard to last a lifetime. Build a house, plant a tree, and raise children. Let the doors of your home be always wide open for guests and relatives. Let your home be full of health, happiness, and love. And all will be filled with the happy laughter of your adorable children. We don't meet people by accident. They are meant to cross our path for a reason. This is exactly what happened with both of you. Even though you were almost 5,000 miles apart from each other on that November, I don't know morning or afternoon, but it was November, the spark was immediate. And I do remember, as Rob told me a few days later, that he met someone very special. Even though it was via Zoom, he knew it right away. Rob, you have grown into a wonderful, very handsome young man. You make us feel so proud. You are very smart, caring, reliable, and gentle. Shannon, we are very happy to have you as our daughter now. You are so gorgeous, well educated, kind, clever, elegant, and well organized young woman. Thank you, my dear in-laws, for that. You did a great job. As you can imagine, relationships are never easy. But if you are patient, listen to each other, and respect each other, learn how to navigate life's twists and turns and differences in ways that bring you closer to each other, know how to make each other laugh and make each other feel like you know, like the love you have found is the greatest gift ever. And have the understanding that there is nothing that each of you is strong enough to accomplish on your own as you would be together. And if your future goals and plans are aligned with each other, you will have a lifetime of happiness and success. We know that during wedding huppah ceremony, up to 3 previous generations of grandparents and great-great-parents are watching over their offsprings. They guard and protect them, as we saw today. We mentioned this also. In our family, we have 2 closest angels, my parents. They had been together just a little longer than 51 years. They were very nice and caring people, and their life together was a great example for all of us, an ideal role model for Rob from day one. Instilling life lessons from his early age went a long way to laying the foundation for Rob's future success and his outlook on life. And I brought 2 pictures of my parents when they were married and at their wedding anniversary.
50th.
50th golden anniversary. When there is love and respect, there is always wealth and luck. And I am sure that they would have accepted Rob's choice and like Shannon very much. Have a bright future together, great happiness, tremendous health, lots of kids, and be very successful. Lots. Kids are what holds your life together. They are the light in your eyes and the beat in your heart. I am sure that you will be great parents. Congratulations, my dear kids. Let's raise our glasses for your love to each other and long and happy life together. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
As you begin a new life together, I am wishing you to have boundless love and happiness through all your life. It comes from trusting, sharing, loving, and giving. I'm glad you find each other. You find the true love of your life, and may this love of yours bloom every day more and more. I raised a good man, will raise a good man, who bring a beautiful addition to our family. Thank you, Rob. Now we're almost complete. We all need someone to hug, laugh, and build a family with, raise kids, and enjoy life together. We're all looking forward to this. And our life seems more complete today. Congratulations, my dear son and daughter. Let's raise our glasses for our kids, Gorka.
Orca, that means kiss. We learned that
Kiss.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One more.
and one more thing. Don't make mistake which make my parents.
What's that?
Not one kiss.
More kids.
More and more.
I just want to start by saying that I'm so grateful that we all get to be here together in this magical place to celebrate this beautiful couple. So thank you for bringing us all here. Rob, I bet you're starting to pick up on some of our family dynamics, like our eating patterns, our blood sugar dips, and our communication styles, or lack thereof, at times. With that, I'm sure you've also noticed our family's interest in psychology. I remember few years ago, Mom and Dad got us all together at Lake Taps to sit down and learn about common personality traits according to a sibling birth order book that Mom had read. She wanted us to talk about how birth order can impact our role in the family. Middle children, such as Shannon, often become the peacekeepers of the family. Common traits of a middle child is to be independent and trustworthy, which then leads them to become very good teammates and friends. All of these traits I have gotten to learn about and love through my older sister, Shanny. Shannon is so often the peacekeeper in our family, the glue that holds us all together. There have been so many times when I struggled to communicate my needs with another family member, and Shannon is always there to translate for me. I'm so sorry that I often rely on you to be the middleman, but it's worked out pretty great for me so far. When I do often call Shannon feeling overwhelmed by our family or anything else in life, she often suggests that I just hop on a plane and fly to New York. So Rob, I know you've already experienced this, but don't be surprised when I show up unannounced and sleep on your couch, because I don't see myself stopping doing that anytime soon.
It's my idea half the time. So you're more than welcome.
I have been so lucky to be able to grow up with Shannon as a role model and my cool, grown-up, independent older sister. Ever since I can remember, I have always idolized Shannon. Everything she did and everything she wore was the coolest thing I had ever seen. I remember spending hours sneaking into Shannon's room when she wasn't home, smelling her candles, smelling her perfume, borrowing her makeup, trying on all her clothes, hoping and waiting for the day they would finally fit me. Waiting for the day I would finally be like Shannon. The time has now come that her clothes do fit me, and unfortunately, what I failed to plan for was Shannon returning the favor as she now steals my clothes. And though at first I might get mad, deep down, little me feels so special that my cool older sister now wants to steal my clothes. I have always gone to my wise and trustworthy older sister for advice. Over the years, Shan has given me lots of great advice. When I entered middle school, even though I was too immature to really understand what it meant back then, whenever I felt insecure or left out, Shani would always tell me that I can allow myself not to care so much about what other people think of me, because most people are too consumed worrying about themselves anyways and don't notice anyone else. She also showed me how the coolest thing to do is to be uncool. Trying too hard and doing the same thing as everyone else is not cool. And though I definitely tried too hard and worried too much about fitting in back then, this advice has really stuck with me and helped me ever since. I have always idolized my wiser, prettier, cooler, older sister. I trust her with my whole heart and would happily, blindly follow you anywhere, Shannon. But blindly following Shannon anywhere usually means ending up at Nordstrom Rack. Some of my favorite memories are Shannon taking time out of her weekends in college to come pick me up and take me to Northgate Mall. Here, Shannon taught me how to meticulously spend hours in Nordstrom Rack, JCPenney, Marshalls, in order to secure the best find. Please. Shan has this shopping ability that I will forever be envious of. She finds something on the rack that looks a little weird, but when she puts it on, she immediately transforms this garment into the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then of course, it'll be some fancy brand name I haven't heard of yet, and it'll always be at least 40% off. Then, hours after learning from the shopping guru master, Shan also showed me the magical world of Red Robin. Our Nordstrom rack treasures secured in hand, we would sit down and feast on the best of the best Red Robin burgers and fries.
It's in the jeans.
Because of our 8-year age gap, when I was younger, I think I was trying so hard to be like you, and I'm just so awestruck by you even to this day. Just enamored by the fact that I could be related to this magical human being that I think at times I forgot you're also just my sister. I admire you so much that I think a small part of me worried I wasn't cool enough to be friends with you. But from my experience, middle children of the family most definitely make great friends. As we've gotten older, and I feel especially in these last 5 years, I've felt a shift in our relationship from big sister and little sister to truly best friends. I've been beyond grateful to be able to watch my relationship with my favorite person transform from someone who I idealized but felt I wasn't cool enough to hang out with to truly becoming my best friend and favorite person to go through life with. One of my favorite things about Shannon is her ability to make everything feel special. She has this unique gift where everything in her life is well thought out and intentional, and when you get to be a part of it, you feel it, as we all have here tonight. Shannon is truly a little woodland fairy, sprinkling fairy dust everywhere she goes. I'm sorry, Rob. Not only have you gained 4 more siblings, but 4 more patients. Even before we had met, when I heard that Dr. Rob was a naturopath, ooh, that was a done deal for me. And when I did get to meet you, I was blown away by how compassionate and caring you truly are. You've already gone above and beyond to help me and my family and teach us so much more about Eastern medicine. It's been a lot of fun and super convenient to have you in the family, but regardless, we are all really happy to have you here. I remember talking to Shannon years back after a breakup with an old boyfriend, and I told her, Shan, it makes sense it didn't work out. He was too much of a delicate fairy, and that's your role. To which Shan responds, damn straight, there's only room for one fairy in my relationships, and it's me. And Rob, you are no fairy. If Shannon is a woodland fairy, then Rob is the wise, steady oak tree that makes sure all of the forest has food and shelter. And Shannon, of course, gets to decorate and dress the oak tree however she so pleases. And the oak tree, for the most part, happily agrees. Rob, as you know, Shannon is so much more than just the middle child family peacekeeper. Shannon is our unique flower, and I'm so happy that she found you, and so that it's now her turn to allow someone else to care for her and make her feel special the way she's been doing for me and all of us. I love you both so much and wish you nothing but happiness and fairy dust in your woodland escape somewhere. I'm so lucky to get to be along with you guys for the ride. Cheers.
Cheers. Sweet.
Shannon, I don't remember if it was the first time.
So, on behalf of the newlyweds, I would like to thank you all for attending the wonderful celebration. Everyone looks lovely this evening. I would also like to thank Shannon's parents for welcoming our family into your lovely home for this special occasion and hosting such an awesome celebration for all of us to enjoy this evening. I'm so happy to be here on this amazing day for both of our families. I especially would like to thank Rob and Shannon for inviting me to celebrate this night with them.
No problem.
So many other friends and family would have loved to be here as well, but they were not fortunate enough to be invited. Thank you also for having a very small wedding. I mean that, on an island almost 5,000 miles away from your home. This way, if I screw up my speech, it will remain within our close family, and nobody will ever find out about it.
Except maybe the internet.
Well,
You're on camera now.
I am on YouTube, but otherwise, yeah. So, as you all know, I'm Rob's older brother. Being the big brother gives me the official right to tell a few embarrassing stories about my baby brother tonight. And yes, it is a real thing. Google it. It says brotherhood is a license to poke fun.
Is that right?
But Rob, I wouldn't do that to you, of course. I just wanted to make you sweat for a few seconds. You're
Sweating
safe.
all night.
You're safe. Okay. Rob, I'm extremely proud to be your older brother and truly honored to be your best man. Your zest for life, undying love for family and friends, and your kind and generous heart are things that I, as your older brother, try to emulate. I wanted a little brother so much before he came into my life, and when I was 10 years old, I couldn't be more thrilled when Rob was born. My mother, though, wanted a girl. And let's be honest, she very nearly got one. I mean, you have all seen Rob's early childhood photos yesterday, right?
Yeah.
All kidding aside, though, I couldn't wait for him to grow up and kept asking my parents, when will I finally be able to play soccer with him? As a kid, Rob wanted to do everything I did. He used to follow me around all the time. And I guess this would be a good time for me to apologize for locking you in your room when you were little, pretty much any time I felt like it. And
First, I would lock myself in, and then he would turn the lock around and lock me in for like
So he
suspect me
couldn't
for
get
locking
out.
myself in.
Yeah. And also for never letting you play Tetris with me, but thanks for reminding me of that one because I didn't remember.
That was my nightmare.
So truly sorry. Growing up, we always had so much room for activities.
Lots of
Room it, book it, hours we spent playing Madden, FIFA, basketball contests, and many other silly games we had made up back in the day. Good times. And it didn't matter how many times I let him choose the game, even though Rob won't admit it, but he usually lost.
That's true.
Unfortunately, though, fishing was one activity that we never bonded over. During what seems like his one and only fishing trip as a young child,
Scarred me for life.
Rob had the unfortunate experience of accidentally hooking a small fish by the eye. I couldn't tell if he was traumatized or excited, but he immediately demanded that we release all of our fish back into the lake. And he only caught one.
He was 3 years old.
And I guess that experience scarred him for life because I could never get him to hold a fishing pole ever again after that. So, in spite of our 10+ year difference, we have always shared a special closeness and friendship that I treasure. Maybe that has something to do with me always acting at least 5 years younger than my age, and you acting 5 years older. But seriously, as your big brother, I've always tried to watch over you and protect you. Just as often, though, it's been the other way around. I like to think that Rob looked up to me and that I've impacted his life somehow, but really he's impacted mine the most and shaped me into becoming a better man myself. We have gone through some heartbreaking moments together in our lives, and also some amazing ones, like the unforgettable summers we spent with our grandparents in upstate New York that we both look forward to every year, and many cruises we went on with our family, just a few of many examples. Rob, you accomplished a lot in your life so far and excelled in everything you have done. But today is by far your biggest and most important accomplishment. Your grandparents will have been very proud and extremely happy for you. I love you and I'm very proud of you and the man you have become. Shannon, you look very beautiful today. I'm so happy to be gaining a sister. And by that I mean welcome to our crazy family. I guess at this point it's too late to change your mind. When we first met in person, I could immediately tell that you were a very caring, intelligent, and kind-hearted person. Rob tells me how talented you are and how good of a mom you're going to be. I'm so glad you didn't run away after seeing Rob's Brooklyn bachelor pad.
She almost did.
Loved it.
That place certainly needed a woman's touch. Your touch is clearly visible in the way the entire interior of your current home is designed. We are so glad to welcome you to our family. I could tell Rob was very serious from the beginning. From the way Rob talked about Shannon, it seemed that this spark was something special, and it felt like he was crazy in love. Whenever I saw them together, I could see not only how much they love each other, but also how good they are together. You are a perfect match and have so much in common. And most importantly, you support and encourage each other, no matter what task or project you decide to tackle. Shannon, you have been a wonderful influence on my brother, and you make him so happy. Thank you for doing that. He's a great guy, and to me, he's the best person you can have by your side, and I'm so grateful you two found each other. The following quote from the movie Hitch, I feel is very appropriate. So how does it happen, great love? Nobody knows. But what I can tell you is that it happens in the blink of an eye. One moment you're enjoying your life, and the next you're wondering how you ever lived without them.
Is that Will Smith or?
Yeah.
Could be Shakespeare.
The love and marriage expert. So as I stand here today watching my baby brother marry the love of his life, I wish you a lifetime of love and happiness together. May your love continue to grow and blossom as each year and milestone passes. Let's all raise our glasses to Rob and Shannon and the incredible journey they're about to embark on. Mazel tov.